Boom, we're recording. So, what's up, everybody? I'm here with Maiya Caldwell, who was an online student of mine about 4 months ago now. We started working together, and Maiya's a student, a dancing student, as well as a teacher herself. So, thanks for joining me, Maiya. I really appreciate your feedback and your time. And I just have a couple questions for you. So, thinking about handstands, of course, can you talk about your history with handstands even before we started working together? Where did this little skill come into your life?
Yeah, I was a gymnast like for a lot of my childhood, so that was just like part of the training. And so, that was just a skill that we had to learn, for gymnastics. And then after that, I just something I like to do, mess around like a little party trick. And then once I started getting back into like more dancing stuff, I was wanting to get more serious back into my handstands again because that was a good skill to have as a performer. So, um, back into college, I started to, really focus on them more. And I found Ezra during quarantine. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
pretty
right.
much it.
It was back in the beginning of quarantine that we kind of started working together and had more time on our hands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So then you have a pretty long history with handstands. Gymnastics, like you're learning that from day one.
hmm
Mm. Awesome. Um, Question number 2 would be, what changed for you while we worked together over the first 12 weeks? Did anything change for you? Can you remember or think about any of that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that changed for me is like I actually know like more about the mechanics of a handstand because anything you learn as a kid, like I feel like you learn how to do it, but you don't start learning the how until later. You just listen to what your coaches say, and that's where I was when I stopped doing gymnastics. So I never really understood like what I was doing. I just
Mm.
kind of relied on my muscle memory, and obviously from being like 12 to being 20, your body changes, so like things are not going to be the same. So um the biggest thing for me was like learning all the little steps and the little things that go in between, because now I can do a handstand, and if I don't do one very well, I can say, okay, well, I wasn't pushing through my shoulders or I wasn't engaging this. And so like that's really helped me of these last few months.
I love it. I love it. That's so cool and such an important concept. Learning from a young age does not by default mean we understand the mechanics of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes that like sort of dissection approach. I'm going to dissect the practice and get to know it. And by default, you become a better teacher. I hope anyway. You feel like that. Like
Yeah.
you can teach a handstand now because you get it.
hmm
Cool. Very cool. Number 3, was there anything that you did not expect to happen that happened?
um I was really surprised about, how well I was able to like fall into a routine, because like in the past, anything that I practiced was super just whenever I felt like it, just for fun. And I thought I would
Mm.
have trouble like sticking to it and staying consistent. But I was really surprised that I was able to like, catch on and like stay with it the whole time, which I was like super proud of myself for, because I had
Yes.
some really great results at the end of it. So I think that's what surprised me, is like just being able to hang on the whole time.
And you kind of hit the nail on the head. That ability to be consistent when you are, because progress is this rise and fall. And
hmm
when you're in the dip of it, you're in the dark doing your stuff, almost like unaware of the steps you're taking towards that high again. And when you come
Yeah.
out of the surface and you see that high progress, it's like, oh my gosh, would I have gotten that if I didn't do all of the stuff leading up to it? You don't know. I
hmm
mean, chances are probably not. You were consistent as hell. Cool. I love it. That is a good answer. um, Last one. If you could go back in time, even before quarantine or before we started working together, to handstand, the version of you doing handstands before we worked together, is there anything you would tell yourself at that time, knowing what you know now?
Um, I would tell myself to start getting into a practice, like, for real, because
Mm,
before, I was literally just screwing around and seeing what would happen if I went upside down. Because like, I'm really not that scared of, like, falling, and I and, like, I have enough skills that if I did fall, like, it wouldn't be a big deal. I can get out of it safely. So, like,
mhm,
I would just tell myself, "Find some consistency, because like, like, what if I did this earlier?" You
mhm,
know? Like,
mhm.
so, I think that's what it is, like, just, like, hunker down and, like, take it seriously. Because like, I really do. I like handstands, they're fun.
Yeah. And that idea of a daily practice is therapeutic, like outside of the practice too. You
Yeah.
building that credibility with yourself is super important. This is why this is why handstands are such a good vehicle for life philosophy. Like do hard do hard stuff.
Mhm.
Necessarily do it. And yeah, change who you are. Well, awesome,
Yeah.
Maya. That's super good. Couldn't agree more. Make it a practice. Make it a practice if it matters anyway. And yeah, I think you
Mhm.
reap the rewards now. You can do handstands any place you want. You're working up towards that minute, and we're not working directly together anymore. And I hope that you still feel like you have the knowledge, the know-how, and the tools to push forward. That's
Yeah,
important.
definitely.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much. This is really quick but perfect. I'm just going to hit the record button again, and we'll be good.